Hey guys, in this video I will be taking a look at the release candidate for Linux Mint 11. I am running it inside of a VirtualBox which has 2048 megs of RAM, access to one of my CPUs and an 8GB hard drive from memory. So let's get stuck into it. As you can see, it has a nice wallpaper by default. And I'm going to install Linux Mint first. And we can see whether or not the installation process is similar to that of Ubuntu, or whether they have customized the installer much. Okay, it looks pretty similar at this stage. I want to select English. Yep, and I meet all of the requirements. At least 4.7 gigabytes disk space that's plugged into a power source and connected to the internet. It's missing two options here, which are in almost all of the Ubuntu distribution installers. From memory, there's an option to update and to install the MP3 codec. Though they don't have it in their installation process. I believe there was another way to do that, which I'll show you a bit later. So let's click forward for now. And I'm going to erase the disk and install Linux Mint since I'm in a VirtualBox. So obviously if you're dull booting, you have to select something else and be careful with the changes that you make. And yep, I have an 8.6 gigabyte VBox hard disk which I am going to use. So install now. And will they give us a slideshow? That's the question. I always like to keep an eye on the bottom part here because I don't like it to download updates etc. without my permission, because it takes a lot longer. Though at this stage we have no slideshow in the installation process, though it hasn't asked for our time zone settings yet. So yep, maybe afterwards. So I'm in Brisbane. Forward. And I'm just going to select the USA keyboard, and I will just enter in all of my details. I always like to change it to login automatically. And now we have a bit of a slideshow. Welcome to Linux Mint. Welcome and thank you for choosing Linux Mint. This slideshow will show you around while the system is being installed on your computer. Okay, browse the web. Be fast and safe on the web with Mozilla Firefox. Enjoy Java, Flash and multimedia content. So it comes with Firefox 4, I presume, Flash and Java. Listen to music and CDs. Enjoy your music with Banshee. Plug in your MP3 player or extract songs from your audio CDs. Listen to podcasts and online radios. Discover new artists on Last.fm, the Internet Archive and the Amazon MP3 store. I believe that in Linux Mint 10 they had a rhythm box, that they have now replaced it with Banshee, which I will take a look at. And I have the I'm pretty sure I have the version of Linux Mint 11 with the audio codecs already included. Watch videos and DVDs. Insert a DVD and enjoy a movie. Watch high definition videos with VLC. I like that they have VLC included by default. It means that almost every video file you would want to play will work, and they have Totem and they have all of the video codecs apparently. Manage your photos. Organize, enjoy and share your photos with GThumb or Picasa. Export your albums to CD, to the web or to online services such as Flickr or Picasa Web to share them with friends and family. So included software GThumb. I'm not sure whether or not Picasa was actually installed by default or not. If you used Linux Mint 10, you would recognize that they have replaced F-Spot with GThumb. Stay connected. Keep in touch with your friends and contacts by email, messenger, or on your favorite social networks. Linux Mint provides all you need to interact with Twitter, Facebook, MSN, ICQ, Google Talk, AM Yahoo, and many other networks. and it comes with Thunderbird, Pigeon, and XChat. That's all pretty standard now. Be productive. Use LibreOffice to create professional documents, spreadsheets, and presentations that are fully compatible with Microsoft Office. Archive documents, emails, or web pages to PDF. Send and receive files with Giver on the local network. Share printers or access them remotely. So we have LibreOffice. I've never mucked around with Giver before, and we have PDF printer. I like that there's a PDF printer installed by default, and they have obviously replaced OpenOffice with LibreOffice like most distributions are doing now. Install software. Browse through 30,000 free applications from the software manager. Enjoy screenshots and user reviews. Install software with one click of the mouse. And some of the featured software which is available for download is FileZilla, Skype, Audacity, Picasa, and Google Earth. So this is just software available for download in the Software Center. I don't believe this is the Ubuntu Software Center. It looks to be different. I haven't checked it out yet. I will check it out after it's finished installing. Run Windows software. Install Wine and run Windows software in Linux Mint, or install VirtualBox and run Windows itself within Linux Mint. Yeah, this is a nice screen to have in case people don't know about these two programs. I've never really ran Wine before. I'm quite happy, dull booting or running inside a VirtualBox. Though if you have some time to waste, check out Wine. Customize your desktop. Make yourself at home and modify any aspect of your desktop. Choose from a large variety of themes, icons, and backgrounds. Linux Mint is open and easy to customize. I'm pretty sure that they have changed the desktop settings. I remember reading about that in the release notes, so it should be slightly different to the other Ubuntu distributions. Keep your system up to date. Receive fixes and security updates all in one place for the entire system, including the software you install. The update manager, which is pretty nice. You can get your updates for Linux Mint 11 and all the actual software packages. Find help. If you're curious about something or if you're facing a problem, simply ask around. Linux Mint is the 4th most widely used operating system in the world. It comes with a user guide, a community website, a collection of tutorials, active forums and chat rooms, and one of the most dynamic communities on the internet. I wonder where they get their statistics from. I know on DistroWatch they are the second most popular at the moment. And they're pretty close to passing Ubuntu actually. And I've just stopped the installer from trying to download the language packs automatically. I'm getting a bit sick of this. They should just stop downloading stuff without your permission. Or in the future I might just disconnect my VirtualBox from the internet whilst installing. It's getting a bit annoying now. And it's repeating the installer. So I haven't been paying much attention to the bottom here. I imagine that it's been copying the files, it's configuring the hardware now, and it will probably configure the bootloader and then it will be done. I'm just going to pause the video for now, and I will resume when some progress has been made in the installation. Okay, so the installation has now completed and I am going to restart the VirtualBox machine. I now need to remove the installation media, which in my case is the ISO image, and click enter for the reboot to take place. Okay, so the Linux Mint 11 desktop is now loading. It seems like we are at the login screen. Oh no, we aren't. It's probably a welcome screen of some sort. Okay, welcome to Linux Mint Release 11 Katya. I have the Gnome 32-bit version. Welcome and thank you for choosing Linux Mint. We hope you'll enjoy using it as much as we did designing it. The links below will help you get started with your new operating system. Have a great time and don't hesitate to send us your feedback. So if you want, you can, if you choose to run off the live CD or install it, there are a few different things you can check out, like the new features, known problems, the user guide, tutorials, forums, chat room, sponsors. You can donate if you want, get involved, the idea pool, software reviews and hardware database. I'm just going to close that for now. And the first thing I would like to check is if I can find it, is what version of Gnome we are running here. We are obviously running Gnome 2 or a version of Gnome 2. I'm not sure where you find it in their start menu. Anyhow, I'll get back to that later. So let's just get stuck into it. So we have two icons on the desktop, computer and your home folder. We have this nice wallpaper here. We have the start menu here, or the Linux Mint menu I should say. Click here to hide all windows and show the desktop, so it's the show desktop button. This 38 recommended updates available, so this is the update manager. I quite like the look of the the password prompt which comes up. So this is just going to be the update manager, and Linux Mint 11 RC hasn't been available for very long, so there shouldn't be too many updates. Most of these updates will probably be for some of the software packages rather than the OS itself. And what do we have here? This looks to be networking. We have sound control, and it's got all of the Banshee media controls here, which is always nice. And this is nice actually. We have the calendar here. I'm not sure if anyone else had this problem, or it might just be in the VirtualBox machine. On my last computer I was running Linux Mint 10, and whenever you clicked on the calendar it would open right up the top here. The only way to fix it was by changing the comp with settings, and when you changed the settings to fix that problem, all of the windows opened in the bottom right corner. So that was a bit of a shame, I thought, with Linux Mint 10. There are a few updates already available. I'm not going to worry about them. And let's get stuck into the menu. This is one of the things which differentiates Linux Mint 11 from a lot of other distributions, and that's their menu. We have places with computer, the home folder, network, desktop, trash, system. We have software manager, package manager, control center, terminal, lock screen, logout, quit. I want to check out the software manager, because I believe in Linux Mint 11 they have their own software manager. They had a nice flash screen there before. I'm not sure if this is the same as the Ubuntu Software Center with a slightly different interface, or if it's different. I'm not completely sure about. Okay, Mint install 7.3.2, so it doesn't look to be the Ubuntu Software Center. So let's check out featured. Whoops. And we have a bunch of different applications here. And we also have this new sort of overlay scroll bar. However, I would be interested to see if it is compatible with all of the applications, as with Ubuntu 11.4 it wasn't. And this scroll bar looks to be slightly different than the one in Ubuntu 11.4, though that's probably most likely to theming. So yeah, it's pretty much the same as the Ubuntu Software Center in the it's probably based off the Ubuntu Software Center actually, though it's got the whole ability to score software, and people obviously can write reviews. So yeah, that's pretty nice. And we still have the categories. Internet, web, email, chat, file sharing. Yep, we still seem to have the categories. There are not as many categories, I don't think. Or actually, maybe we have categories within categories. No, not as many categories as the Ubuntu Software Center. So yeah, I quite like their Software Center. And let's take a look at all of the applications. Let's go to each category. Accessories, calculator, character map, disk usage analyzer, gedit, search for files, take screenshot. Yeah, I quite like this screenshot application. What else do we have here? Terminal, time and date, Tomboy notes. Under graphics we have GIMP, which is pretty much a standard. We have gthumb, which has replaced the F-Spot photo manager. We have LibreOffice Draw and Simple Scan. LibreOffice has of course replaced OpenOffice in Linux Mint 11. We have Firefox web browser. Let's just check what version this is. Of course it will be Firefox 4. There's probably no point in checking anymore, it's just expected now. Let's see, 4.0.1, so yeah, that's pretty much up to date. We have Giver, easy quick file sharing. I have never used Giver before, they mentioned it in the installer. Though you must easily be able to share files with other computers. I imagine that they would have to have Giver installed on them too. I'm not sure whether or not it's available for Windows machines. Pigeon, Sun Java 6 Web Start, Thunderbird Mail News, Transmission, BitTorrent Client, XChat IRC. We have a dictionary and all of the standard LibreOffice suite of programs. Sound and video, we have Banshee, which has obviously replaced Rhythmbox. So yeah, Banshee's quite a nice player. Let's have a look. Though, as usual, they don't have the Ubuntu One store, which upsets a lot of people. It's based off of Ubuntu. However, they aren't really willing to support Ubuntu in the sense of, keeping their store there. And, this stops a lot of people from using Linux Mint. Though I'm not bothered by it too much, though, it wouldn't hurt for them to support the Ubuntu, team. So we have Banshee for Zero, for copying CDs and DVDs. We have Gnome M Player. Yeah, I quite like M Player. You don't see it installed by default in a lot of distributions. We have Movie Player, play movies and songs. What's the difference? Oh yeah, that's the standard movie player. We have Sound Recorder, VLC Media Player. I really like that that's installed by default. It means that pretty much all of your video files should work out of the box. And administration, additional drivers, Apton CD backup tool, Compiz Fusion icon, domain blocker, firewall configuration, language support, log file viewer, login screen, network tools, printing, the software manager which you looked at before. You can set your software sources, startup disk creator, startup manager, synaptic package manager, system monitor, system profiler and benchmark, update manager, upload manager. What's upload manager used for? If I was to click new, enter a name for the new upload service to avoid spaces and any funny characters. I probably should have just read the description. Oh yeah, this is quite nice. It must be for FTP, SFTP and SCP. It's sort of like a mini FTP client, you could say. What else do we have here? Users and groups, Windows wireless drivers and preferences. We have About Me. This apparently has a few bugs in the RC version. I'm not sure whether or not it's going to open up. Appearance, assistive technologies, Bluetooth, Compiz, config settings manager, desktop settings. Keyboard shortcuts, main menu, change which applications are shown on the main menu. Monitors, mouse, Nautilus actions configuration, network connections, network proxy, passwords and encryption keys, personal file sharing, power management, preferred applications, remote desktop, screensaver, sound, startup applications, Sun Java 6, time and date, the welcome screen and window properties. So what should I take a look at? Let's quickly take a look at the preferred applications. As you can imagine, Firefox and Thunderbird are the default for web browsing and email. In fact, they are the only ones installed by default. Multimedia is obviously Banshee, though you have the choice of Gnome M Player and Totem Movie Player. And we have the Gnome Terminal and we have the standard X Terminal. And for visual, Gnome Magnifier without screen reader. We just have the custom mobility applications there. What else can I show you? startup applications. You don't want to, if you don't know what these are, it's best not to muck around with them. Though, for example, you might not need Bluetooth Manager to, start up with your computer. And let's take a look at a few of the properties. Let's take a look at the preferences for the menu. I remember I used to rename the menu. For example, I could call this Mark's Stuff. That's pretty nice. Keyboard shortcut, Control Super L. I'm not sure what they mean by this. I'll try it now. No, that brings up something else. Control L. I'm not sure what they mean. Control Super L. Button icon. You can even change the icon to your own if you want, which is pretty nice. It really lets you customize it without much effort. Options always start with favorites pane. So let's take a look here. Oh yeah, so this is the menu, and here's the favorites pane. Like if I leave the applications open and close it, it doesn't go back to the favorites pane. So that's something I would personally tick. I want it to always go back there. We didn't really take a look at the favorites pane before. We have web browser, mail, pigeon, banshee, which are all for applications you commonly use, and we have a few less common yet important applications here: calculator, text editor, terminal, and sound. And we have monitors, and we have a system monitor. So as you can see, I've given the machine 2 gigabytes of memory. It's got a 2 gig swap file. I like the network history. I believe it's only got one of my 6 CPUs, the file system, processors, system. Oh yeah. Okay, so it's Linux Mint 11 Katya. Here's the kernel version, and it's got Gnome 2.32.1. I really like the fact they haven't rushed into Gnome 3, and I know a lot of people which tried Ubuntu 11.4 and have actually decided to switch to Linux Mint 11. I like the fact they haven't rushed into it, and I'm not sure whether or not it's true, though I've heard that Gnome 3 is making a sort of classic look. Well, I believe Gnome 3 is making a version of the interface which looks similar to Gnome 2. I'm not talking about the fallback mode, though a lot of people don't like Gnome Shell, and I am one of them. I'm not a big fan of it. However, I've yet to actually install it. It doesn't seem to run properly off of a live CD, unfortunately. Okay, so show applications plugin. What's this? I'm not sure. Maybe that's that. Okay, show system plugin. Show places. Okay, so places is obviously there. System is obviously there. Show recent documents plugin. I've never been a fan of recent documents. People can see where you've been, and it obviously makes the menu a bit bigger. I personally wouldn't have that checked. Some people might. Border width, what happens if I change that? It's all appearance really. You can do that if you want. Opacity, it's 98% by default. What happens if I change it to 10%? Okay, I can't really see a difference. Isn't it supposed to make it more see-through or something? I'm not sure. So I'll just put it back to 98%. If you don't know what it's for, then it's best to leave it on the default setting. The theme. Okay, you can use your own custom colors if you want. I personally wouldn't do that. Yeah, let's just see what it looks like. Oh yeah, it changes the the color of places and favorites and system, etc. We have applications, show application comments. This must be when you hover over it, which I quite like. Show category icons. What happens if we deselect this? Oh yeah, we'll just remove the icons. And if I select it again, there should be icons. Yep. If you think it's a bit too confusing, you can disable the icons for the categories. Hover, delay, icon size, search command, search for packages to install. So I quite like this feature. Search Google, Wikipedia, look up in the dictionary, and it actually comes up with the packages that you can install. I quite like that. Favorites, number of columns 2, icon size 48. So if you wanted, you could have probably all of this with all of your favorites more or less. Swap name and generic name. So web browser. So I imagine if I click that, it would just say Firefox. Firefox web browser. I quite like the generic name. Places. Allow scroll bar. What would this do? I don't know. Okay, and you can choose what you want to be in places. Computer, home folder, network, desktop, and trash. You can select show G2K bookmarks. I don't have any bookmarks. So, oh look, it adds a section here, I believe. Actually, no, sorry, here. No, like if you add the bookmarks and the recent documents, you're going to have one hell of a fat menu. I wouldn't recommend it. System, allow scroll bar, and we have software manager, package manager, control center, terminal, lock screen, log out, and quit. So that's pretty much it for the menu. What else can I check out? Let's check change desktop background. So let's see if they packaged in any other desktop backgrounds and themes. Oh yeah, they've got the menu, the new style menu here. Oh yeah, so obviously the overlay menu doesn't work with everything. However, at least they have the same style. In Ubuntu, I think they have the old style and the new style. So you might have the new style overlay menu on some applications, so the old one in the middle. I could be wrong, don't quote me on this, it's just what I remember. Though Mintex Metal looks like the best one. There's Peppermint, Shiki Rise, which also doesn't look too bad. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I'm quite happy with the default theme. Let's just wait for that to go back. Being a little bit unresponsive. Okay, and now let's check the backgrounds. Yeah, they've included a few nice backgrounds. If you don't want to flaunt the logo on your desktop, then you can just select one of the green wallpapers. They're all pretty nice. Yeah, and you can obviously use your own wallpaper if you want. So yeah, and you can obviously change the fonts. I'm not going to get into that. You can spend hours getting the fonts right if you're as pedantic as myself. And what else? Is there anything that I missed? So we've looked at software manager. Package manager shouldn't be any different. It should be pretty standard. Yeah, it looks pretty standard to me. Now it's gonna. I'm not gonna refresh it. Probably take too long. We have the control center. Oh yeah, I don't mind the control center. We've got different categories: personal, internet and network, hardware, system, and other. I believe all of this stuff was available in the menu. So yeah, you can obviously just search for it if you want. We have the terminal, which is pretty standard. In some distributions they have a funny cartoon at the top of every terminal. Alright, yeah, they do in Mint also. Every time that you open a new terminal, it should be different. I'm sorry, but I simply don't understand what you mean. That's pretty funny. I quite like that. Bring a bit of Linux humor. And I'm not sure if there is anything else that I can show you really. I should also mention, if you don't install the full DVD, somewhere in one of these menus it will have an icon which says upgrade to DVD edition. Let's just take a quick look at the the file manager. Yeah, they're using Nautilus, which I like the look of. It's very clean. You can't really go wrong with it. And also let's test the sidebar. Okay, so let's go to file system. Let's just go somewhere which has a lot of files. Yep, so the new file bars in the file system window. What else can I test? Let's test some of the LibreOffice applications. I believe it didn't work for them in Ubuntu. So let's see if the new sidebar works for them or not. LibreOffice 3 from the Document Foundation. And no, you still have this old style bar here. It's not really consistent. However, it doesn't bother me too much personally. It depends. I'm not sure whose responsibility it is. I'm not sure if it's the application developers or the operating system's responsibility to make it all look the same, though I think it's a very hard task. So I think people shouldn't complain about such a small thing. And yeah, I believe that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Overall, I'm quite happy with Linux Mint 11. I recommend you check it out. There aren't any major changes design theme wise. They haven't moved to Gnome 3 or taken up the Unity interface or changed interfaces completely. The Linux Mint is obviously also available in different interfaces like KDE and XFCE and all of that, though they usually bring out the GNOME variation first. Though yeah, I highly recommend that you check it out, and thanks for watching.